So one of the reasons that I guess I like this tool is that there are many 360s out there, but I know that this has been built on science. I know it's been built out of neuroscience. I know Sylvia knows her stuff when it comes to this sort of thing. I think it looks at leadership from probably a slightly different way, of less of the rigid black and white sort of activities like decision making or strategic planning and whatever and it links it more into the current environment of leadership, things like inspiration. We want to be inspired. Well, who's measured that before when it comes to a standard leadership profile? Also the things around personal performance as well as team performance, if you like. It's about my own performance, my own sense of balance and all of those sorts of things. And I know it's been built out of neuroscience, so I know it's been based on some of the ways we know the brain works and the things that reward the human brain and the things that drive us to approach things in a different way as opposed to going down the threat and avoidance path, which has perhaps sometimes been pushed a little bit before. So when I got my results, so I did the 360, I guess there was a few things. I believe that 360s are valuable. So already I was kind of obviously on board. I know that a self-report by itself sometimes is not always that accurate. You know, sometimes we overdo or underdo our viewpoint. But as soon as you get a 360, it's giving you a real snapshot on how people see you. So yes, it may be different to the way you perceive yourself, but hey, that's okay. It's about understanding that. So I was very lucky. I got a whole range of people from a whole range of different areas. I loved the fact that I could include families and friends because I think it's really interesting to see how you come across in those environments compared to how you show up at work. For me, I like to be a whole person that's the same person that shows up in those different areas, which is part, for me, of that integration piece. And so I liked the fact that there was quite a lot of agreement in my results. I enjoyed doing it, and I have to admit I liked my results. They turned out reasonably well. There was, as I say, agreement, which is really important for me because I do always try and come across as authentic, and I'm very well aware of my weaknesses, and I'm very happy to understand them and share them with people. So it was quite easy for me to understand that, yeah, my weaknesses were there and I was aware of them. But equally, the really cool strengths that I notice, or I hope that is there and I try to do, was actually recognised by the people who rated me. So for me, it was kind of exciting. But it was also looking at, I guess, the benefits for me is not just the gaps. So often when we get a 360, we immediately go to our development opportunities and the things that are wrong with us and the weaknesses and the things we can fix. For me, it was actually looking at leveraging my strengths. Because for me as a leader, I know that if I can delegate and get rid of the things I'm not so good at to my really cool team who are doing that far better than me, and I get to play to the stuff that they agree I'm really good at and I agree I'm really good at, it makes me a better leader and it makes then my team better at what they do. So for me, it was looking at both. It's very easy sometimes, and we know from the brain that we do like to go to what's wrong rather than what's right. But for me, it was focusing on, well, how do I get to do more of this really good stuff, like the inspirational leader piece? My team seemed to indicate that I was quite good at inspiring them, and that was kind of nice to know. So yeah, I was excited by my results, and I'm very happy to do it again in perhaps a few months' time and see if anything's changed with the things I've been leveraging and the things I'm working on. Some things that I've worked on, I guess, one is the leveraging of some of the good stuff, so the inspirational things. So I looked at what do I do that inspires my team, and I looked at how do I do more of that. And there were simple things like I know that my team is extremely inspired by our purpose and the difference that we make. So when I communicate, I am making sure that I am still leveraging that because they said that was what they loved and that was what I did well, so I'm keeping that going. So that's definitely something that I'm continuing to work on. One of the ones that was a bit of a weakness for me was the sort of the balance piece around the integration. I'm not sure I'm working on that too well this week, but certainly there were some gaps that I specifically did over December and January. So after I got my results, one of the things I did is I actually booked a month off. And it wasn't a month off work, it was actually a month away from the office, from day-to-day emails and things like that, to actually try and do some of those things. So it's a work in progress, I would say. But equally, I know from other things I've worked on in the past, and I also know from the neuroplasticity of the brain, that it will change.